If the words engine swap get you excited, you're going to want to stick around and watch this video. With the advent of a new mid-engine Corvette on the horizon, American supercar enthusiasts are highly anticipating the first mid-engined American supercar. Or are they? What was the first mid-engined American car? To answer that question, I'm going to take you inside to the computer for a minute. We'll discuss it there. Now, before we get started, I'm going to ask that you subscribe if you haven't already. As you can see, looking at the mid-engine Corvette that's about to come out supposedly in 2020, this is the C8, the 8th generation of the Corvette. Some people might be a little disgruntled that they're changing the Corvette from a front to rear engine. I'm hoping that they label the mid-engine as a separate model almost. There's rumors that they're going to do that and maybe retain a front-end engine version. I do personally believe they should have renamed it to a different car and left the Corvette its classic form. That's just my personal opinion. But getting on to what I asked earlier, what is the first mid-engined American car? And it is not this car that's coming up. It is, for those of you that don't already know, the Pontiac Fiero. Now, in the back of every gearhead's mind, there's going to be a want to build this car because it came out with like 97 horsepower. I believe the V6 was maybe 125. I don't know. Anyway, it's not noteworthy for the first mid-engine car ever to exist out of American stables. It says here the Pontiac Fiero is a mid-engine sports car that was built by General Motors from 83 to 88 for the 1984 to 88 model years. They only built them for 4 years. And it does say here the first mass-produced mid-engine sports car by a U.S. manufacturer. So there you have it. It is. They did have also a plastic body, as you can see here, which was noteworthy, and the reasoning behind why they don't seem to rust. I guess the frame could possibly still rust out, but they have been relatively good. The years have been good to them. They haven't rusted out. But there hasn't been that many that were sold. So it says here a total of 370,000. The prices are still low on them. I do think that eventually there's going to be enough of those 370,000 that go to the wreckers that eventually the price will go up. But for right now, Fiero is relatively cheap. So the question was, how do we go super fast and get a mid-engine car? You know, you look at your Toyota MR2s and, you know, Fiats maybe, or what else is there out there that you could build? There's a couple others, mostly Japanese or German. This is the first American mid-engine car, and we plan on making it fast. How do we do that? Fiero Guru Performance. This guy is an expert in the field of turning a Fiero into a hell ride. If we go into their engine swaps here, you can see they've done everything under the sun, but the one that really piqued my interest and said to me, it just spoke to me, this has to be done, is the LS4 F40 engine swap and transmission swap. What this is, ladies and gentlemen, is an LS4 which was found in mostly in well, I guess it was only in 4 vehicles, but it was mostly in the Grand Prix GXP. I believe it was in certain Buick Allures and a Monte Carlo SS and an Impala SS were the other two, where they crammed an LS into a front-wheel drive car sideways. Now, they were all mated to an automatic transmission, but who wants to have an automatic in a sports car? Especially a Fiero, mid-engine. You want to have 5 speeds, if not 6. So how do you get 6? You stick the transmission which is called the F40. No, I'm not talking about Ferraris here. This transmission was in Pontiac G6 GTPs for the most part. It was in a few other cars. But this transmission is a 6-speed that has the same pattern as the LS4. The LS4 block has a different bell housing bolt pattern specifically that will fit this transmission. So it's typically mated to a 3.9 liter V6 in the Pontiac G6, I believe. But in this case, we're going to buy a new one and we're going to bolt it up to this LS4 and see what this baby will do. No limited slip diff to see if the transmission can hold it, and if it does hold it, we'll probably throw that in, because I doubt this thing will get much traction until we put some decent meats on it. You can possibly get this up to, let's say, 450 horsepower NA safely without, being too crazy in terms of drivability and how lumpy the cam is, let's say. But you can see here the details. I'll leave the link in the description below to Fiero Guru and this swap. But this is what we're going to do, people. Not quite the same as what he did. Let's take a look at this picture here. You can see this was his original swap that he did. And he kept all the accessories here. This is a very complex build. We're not going to do that. We're going to actually get rid of the bulk of this and do something completely different. So we will, if you want to find out how we do all this and what I do besides that, I'm going to do a completely different system. You're going to have to stick around to find out what I do. But long and short, an LS4 is going to get stuffed into a Fiero. Next video, I'll show you the car. I have the engine. I'm going to have to start buying parts from Fiero Guru. Stick around for that one.